Yeah, right. Well, that was the first salvo in their attempt to start a new Cold War, and which I don't fucking appreciate. I lived through the tail end of the last one, and it fucking sucked. And the last thing we need is, and here we are in the middle of it with, what, like, I would say, okay, being generous, 50% of the, broadcast public, people who watch the news, bought into Russiagate, vehemently bought into Russiagate. Like, you're crazy if you don't believe Russiagate. And
Oh,
I'm
I
being
can't tell
generous.
you how many times I have been fucking just railed on for
Yeah.
even after the collapse of the fucking whole house of cards. Still, in my involvement with the free Assange things, like, I'm extra Russian now.
Uh-huh. Well, it improved my status with my in-laws. They like me better now. They're awesome. But, they're so funny. They decided to actually go to Russia. The mother-in-law is kind of a Trump supporter, very
Yeah.
much a Trump supporter, and father-in-law is like, he's really stupid, so he's like neither here nor there. So, but they decided to go to Russia for one of their retirement vacation things that they do. People.
Okay. Yeah, no. When my dad was alive, him and my mom did that too. They did like a whole Baltic cruise and then went into St. Petersburg and a couple other places.
That sounds almost exactly what they did. Now, she's Polish, so, she went back and did Poland just by itself and is real interested in that history. And so she comes back, and it's my husband's mom, actually at Thanksgiving, talking about how Russia lost more people in the war than, so and so, or blah blah blah. And we're like, yeah, yes, that's true. That's not something you want to share at a dinner party with the other retired teachers.
24.5 million people.
Yeah. Like, it's an insane amount.
It really is. It's like 22 or 24 million people.
She's sounding like friends of mine in DM groups who, have hammer and sickles in their
Yeah.
What is it called?
In the
Screen name.
Twitter handle.
Yes, in their handle.
That's good shit, man. That is good shit. Yeah, Stalin sacrificed more of his people, and then they go and immediately make the argument that, like, oh, and the Holocaust didn't happen. Like, that kind of happens. That's usually how a lot of those conversations start.
Yeah, they're definitely not that. So it's so weird, like these people who've been hewing to this conservative line for many years are all of a sudden anti-fascist, like anti-fascist in the most traditional sense, like
but fully unaware of it, and would hang any one of those 108-pound black skinny jean pink haired fucking warriors.
Oh, totally. I don't know. Mother-in-law might be like, can he make me a good drink?
He looks like my hairdresser. Yeah. I look, man, I got friends that claim Antifa out loud, whenever it comes up. And my argument has always been that if you can prove to me that for every fucking clearly atheist barista, there is not 1 to 1.5 on average members of law enforcement, then I will come to your fucking house and I will build you an addition at no charge for the labor. Like, and nobody can really make that. Nobody can, because Antifa isn't a thing.
Uh-huh.
It's an ideology.
Mm-hmm. It's an invitation for provocateurs to come and fuck around.
You're goddamn right. And that's exactly, and this is the argument that I make all that. I think I can't remember, that live stream that we did with Pat and Jason and Johnny Graz was very long. And I was very high. And Pat got drunk.
Did he?
Like, oh my gosh, man. He slammed 4 or 5 high gravity, I think, ciders during the course of that sesh. He brought me a copy of An Inconvenient Douche, the book that he wrote.
Uh-huh.
And he autographed it. Inscribed it, and it's like,
beating dudes.
you magnificent bastard, you know. Yeah, it's great shit. But I was headed somewhere with that, and then I kicked Pat around. We were talking about Antifa and infill. Oh yeah, so I think I don't know if I made it when you were on or not, but I've tried to put forth this notion that the whole reason there's a profile and a spotlight on Antifa is so that you can have something to be divisive over.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason that this whole culture of Proud Boys, Patriot Prayer, Identity Europa, all of that shit, like, has got such a resurgence is because we kind of go through cyclical periods of awakening. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those periods, more people are waking up, sometimes less people are waking up, but there are cycles of awareness, and we're fucking due for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe, to a certain extent, that more people are becoming aware of, if not the simulation around them, the fact that it's a fucking rigged game.
Mm-hmm.
So the efforts to distract, divide, definitely conquer, it absolutely rule, are ratcheting up to that degree, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a black bloc in Antifa. You need Proud Boys. You need fucking ass clowns like Richard Spencer.
You need enemies.
Yeah.
And what they really don't want is they really don't want people uniting around certain issues like
Seizing the means of production.
There's that, and there's Assange, there's civil liberties stuff, there's things that have to do, there are all kinds of issues all around us that transcend this binary, you know? Like, we live in an age of binaries that just, it doesn't, to the point where it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't do us any good anymore. Things aren't all black and white. It's not all the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. It's not all women and men, for God's sakes, you know, like that's probably the binary that's the most fucked up right now. Like, ContraPoints, Natalie Wynn did a really good piece just called Men the other day. And, you know, she's like, I'm worried about my boys. And she had like the grinder like noise every time she said, I'm worried about my boys. And she has this great point that with Me Too movement and, you know, kind of toxic feminism in a way, that there's no, we're leaving in our discourse, in our public spaces, we're leaving no room for men to be men. And it's almost like
there's a deliberate confusion of toxic masculinity with all masculinity.
Yes, exactly.